Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to create Shopify customer on Zoho Forms submission. So I'm an owner of an e-commerce business and I've created a form with the help of which I collect my leads data using Zoho Forms. And I use Shopify to manage my online store and my customers' data. Here what I want is that as soon as by the lead a new form submission is going to be done using Zoho Forms, I want to create that lead as a customer in my Shopify account. Now creating these customers manually is very time consuming. So what I've done is I've simply automated this entire process with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. And here in this automation, I'm going to build a connection between Zoho Forms and Shopify with the help of it. So if you also want to learn about this amazing automation process step by step, for that let me take you to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to create Shopify customer on Zoho Forms submission. So as an owner of an e-commerce business, I use Zoho Forms to collect my leads data, and this form is embedded on my website. And I use Shopify to manage my online store where I engage with my customers, track purchases, and offer personalized shopping experiences. By automating the process of creating Shopify customers from Zoho Forms submission, I ensure that every lead is instantly added to my store customers database. This automation eliminates the manual data entry, allowing me to nurture leads efficiently, set targeted promotions, and convert them into loyal customers seamlessly. And I am going to create this amazing automation between Zoho Forms and Shopify with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign into our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the all Pabbly apps shown in front of you, in which you can see all the products that Pabbly provides, from which we are going to select this Pabbly Connect by clicking on this Access Now button right here. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow over here, I'm going to give it as Create Shopify Customer on Zoho Forms Submission. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. After that, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down. These are the folders from which I'm going to select Shopify Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving the name to the workflow and selecting the folder, I'm going to click on this Create button in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Create Shopify Customer on Zoho Forms Submission, and you can see that there are two windows in front of you. One over here says Trigger, other says Action. So what is Trigger and Action? Trigger and Action are the two most important steps of our automation process because our process depends on these two principles. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means what is Action? Action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first. And for the trigger application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as Zoho Forms. As with the help of Zoho Forms, I have created a form with the help of which I am collecting my leads data. I want that as soon as by the lead a new form submission is going to be done using Zoho Forms, automatically the trigger over here in my workflow should capture the response of the form submission. That is why for my trigger application, I've selected it as Zoho Forms. And for the trigger event over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as New Form Submitted. After selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see that Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. Now using this unique webhook URL, we are going to build a connection between Zoho Forms and Pabbly Connect by following the steps given here below in the help desk. So firstly, I'm going to copy this URL from here. After copying the URL, log into your Zoho Forms account. So this is my Zoho Forms account. So if I'm going to go back to the dashboard of my account, you can see right over here, these are all the forms that I've created using Zoho Forms. And with the help of this form, that is lead form, I'm collecting my leads data. So we need to connect this form to Pabbly Connect. In order to do that, click on this edit page of this form right over here. As you go to land towards the edit page, from this panel, go to integration section right here. After landing towards the integrations page, from this panel of integrations, if I'm going to scroll down, it says webhooks. Click on webhooks right here. Click on this configure webhook button right over here. It is asking for the URL. So I'm going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. For the content type, I'm going to select as application JSON right over here. For the authorization type, I'm going to select as general. Okay. Now it is asking for the form fields. So over here it is asking for the parameter name. I have created multiple fields over here. If I'm going to go to the builder section, you can see I've created name, email, phone number, address, okay? I want the response over here in my trigger of all the details like the first name, last name, email, phone number, and the address. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to go back to integrations right here. It is asking for the parameter name. So first parameter is going to be the first name. So I'm going to write over here the first parameter as first name. And for the field, I'm going to select the field as the first name, okay? I'm going to add another parameter. It is going to be last name right over here. And the field is going to be last name. So in this manner, I'm going to select all the parameters and the fields in this form field section. So as you can see, for the form fields, I've added all the form fields of the email, phone number, street address, address to, city, state, pin code, and the country. So these are the field responses that I want to capture. After that, it is asked for the URL parameters, custom headers, which I do not require. So I'm going to skip the part and simply I'm going to click on the save button right here. As you can see, as the configuration is now been saved, I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down. It is saying waiting for webhook response. So now to check whether Zoho Forms is connected to Pabbly Connect or not, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a test submission of this form that I've created using Zoho Forms. And after doing the test submission, I'm going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of the test submission being done or not. Now to do the test submission from this panel, I'm going to go to the share option right over here. So this is the link of this form that I've created. I'm going to copy this link from here and open this link in a new tab right over here. So this is the form that I've created, and using this form, I'm going to collect my leads data. Let us do the test submission. Firstly, it is asking for the leads first name. So for the first name over here, I'm going to write it as new. For the last name over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it as lead. For the email over here, I'm going to write it as newlead@pabblytudes.com. For the phone number over here, I'm going to write in a dummy mobile number right here. After that, for the address, firstly for the street address over here, I'm going to write it as new city. After that, for the city over here, I'm going to write it as Bhopal. For the state over here, I'm going to write it as Madhya Pradesh. For the postal code over here, I'm going to enter a dummy postal code right over here. And for the country, I'm going to select it as India. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on the submit button to do the test submission. It says, thank you, your response has been submitted. As now the test submission is done, I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down. Over here, I'm going to wait for a few seconds. As I have now waited for a few seconds, you can see the response of the form submission has been captured in our trigger. Let us tally the response. The first name of the lead comes as new, last name is lead, this is the dummy mobile number. Email address is newlead@pabblytudes.com. Country is India, city is Bhopal, you can see right over here, state is Madhya Pradesh, this is dummy postal code, and address is 123 New City. As now the response of the form submission has been captured in our trigger, this means that Zoho Forms has now been connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. After setting up our trigger step, we need to set up our action step. My objective is that as soon as per the lead, a new form submission is going to be done using Zoho Forms. That lead should be created as a customer in my Shopify account. Now for that, we're going to set up our action step, in which for the action application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as Shopify Legacy right over here. And for the action event, I'm going to select it as Create Customer. After selecting the action application and the event, I'm going to click on this Connect button. A window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on Add New Connection, or else you can select the existing connection that you have. After that, it is asking for the Access API token and the subdomain. So firstly, for the subdomain, log into your Shopify account. To have the subdomain, from the left side of the panel, go to Online Store and click on this Preview button of your online store right over here. As your online store is going to be opened, this is the URL, and between the HTTPS and myshopify.com, this is the subdomain. So I'm going to copy the subdomain from here and paste this subdomain in this field right over here. After that, it is asking for the admin API access token. So in order to have the admin API access token, log into your Shopify account again. Now from the left side of the panel, go to settings option right over here. After coming to settings, from this panel, go to apps and sales right over here. After coming to apps sales channel, after that, click on this develop app button right over here. We are going to create a new app in order to have this admin API access token. For that, click on this create an app button right here. We have to give an app name. So the app name over here, I'm going to write it as new customer added. This is the app name that I want to give. Then I'm going to click on this create app button. After clicking on create app, we need to configure some API scopes in this app that we are creating. For that, click on this button right over here. After that, it is asking for the access to the scopes. So over here, as we are going to create a new customer, so I'm going to search for the scopes in the name of customers. And as we're going to search the customers, give all the scopes given provided in the name of customers right over here. After giving the access to all the scopes, click on the save button right over here. As it says configuration has now been saved. As now the configuration is saved, I'm going to install this application that I've created in my Shopify account. I'm going to click on this install button right here. And it says app installed. As now the app is installed, you can see the admin API access token. This is the token that Pabbly Connect is asking for us. So I'm going to reveal the token, and then I'm going to copy this token from here and paste this admin token right over here. After entering the token and the subdomain, click on the save button to save the changes. As now you can see, Shopify is connected to Pabbly Connect. After that, it is asking for all these details, with the help of which we are going to create a new customer in our Shopify account. Now, in order to do that, firstly, it is asking for the first name, last name, and all the other details. Now, for the data of these fields, what we are going to do is we are going to map the data. Now, what is mapping? Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. And how it works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field, this was the previous step. As I'm going to click on it, this is the same response that was captured in our previous step. In this response, you have received our leads data, and I want to create the same lead as a customer in my Shopify account. So for the data of this first name field, I'm going to select the data of my lead's first name from my previous response. As I've now selected the data from the previous response, the data is mapped. And as I have mapped the data has now become dynamic. That means now whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this mapped data. Similarly, for the last name, I'm going to map the data of the last name. For the email over here, I'm going to map the data of the email of my lead. For the phone number over here, I'm going to map the data of the phone number that I've received. For the address, I'm going to map the data of the address right over here. For the address too, I didn't receive the data, but I have the field, so I'm going to map the data right here. For the company, I don't have the company, so I'm going to skip the part. For the city over here, I'm going to map the data of the city that I've received right over here. This is the city. For the state over here, I'm going to map the data of the state that I've received, that is right here. It is asking for the code. I don't have the code, so I'm going to skip the part. For the phone number, I'm going to map the data of the phone number right over here. For the zip code, I'm going to map the data of the postal code that I've received. Country, that is India, I'm going to map the data of the country right over here, that is right here. Okay. After that, it is asking for is default address. I'm going to select it as false right over here. Okay. After that, it is asking for tags, which I do not require, so I'm going to skip the part. After that, it is asking for the note. So for the note over here, I'm going to write it as new lead. Okay, this is the note that I have. After that, it is asking for accepts marketing. I'm going to select as false. Email marketing consent, I'm going to select as none. And over here, I don't have the updated email marketing consent, so I'm going to skip the part. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this save and send test request button right here. As I've done that, over here we receive the customer ID, which is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my Shopify account. This is my Shopify account customers page. You can see right over here. I'm going to refresh this page from here. As I've refreshed the page, you can see a new customer is added to my Shopify account. Let us tally the response of the customer. The name of the customer is new lead. You can see right over here. This is an email that is newlead@pabblytudes.com with a dummy mobile number. Address is 123 New City. This is the postal code. City is Bhopal. State is Madhya Pradesh. Country is India. This is the mobile number. You can see right over here. If I'm going to further scroll down, note comes as new lead. Okay. As now a new customer has been added to my Shopify account from Zoho Forms submission. This means that we have successfully created an automation between Zoho Forms and Shopify with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, I am an owner of an e-commerce store, and using Zoho Forms, I have created a form with the help of which I collect my leads data, and the form that I've created is embedded on my website. And I manage my online store with the help of Shopify. OA for the trigger, I've selected as Zoho Forms new form submitted, as whenever a new form submission is going to be done by the lead, the trigger over here is going to capture the response of that. And then for the action, I've selected as Shopify Legacy Create Customer. Now using the leads details, using this action step, a customer is automatically going to be created in my Shopify account whenever a new form submission is going to be done. And in this manner, we have created this automation between these two applications with Pabbly Connect. So this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple other applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you have any questions, you can contact us on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can check the queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video.